Welcome in, everybody. How are we doing? I'm Joey. We've got some S-Class action in the NSX. It's the 92 NSX-R here at Circuit of the Americas. Let's see what kind of shenanigans we can get into now. I think the last video was the all-out crashing video on all the first laps, so hopefully this one can go a little bit better. And for us, it looks like it kind of does. We get right up into third place momentarily, and we're in a little battle here with whatever the fuck that thing is, but quickly back up into third place. Now this race, it's going to turn out into an all-out battle between the three of us here, the Lotus and the Camaro up front. So here we go, going into the S's now. I'm kind of a little out of it. This is my first race in the NSX. I was in a bit of an adjustment period. I'm not too great on the brakes as I just kind of absolutely extend my line past the track boundaries there. The brakes, I wasn't totally quite used to for some reason. I completely lock it up here and go into the back of the Lotus. Not totally putting them off, but I was pretty loose on the brakes, just trying to get used to the car and do it as quickly as possible. Coming down the back straight now, we're going to get right by the Lotus. It doesn't have the greatest top speed. The NSX definitely better. The Lotus has great acceleration though, and I was keeping up with that Camaro until I was totally reckless on the brakes again, and then I nearly lose control of the NSX, go straight into the Lotus and almost collect it. Doesn't quite happen though. I managed to just get that grip in time to not make some massive amounts of carnage here. Going into the last sector, taking a look at those gaps now, we've got a pretty big gap to fourth place. It's about 3 seconds, so it's already turning into a battle between the top three, and honestly, I'm pretty surprised I'm in a podium position now. As bad as I've been driving, as reckless on the brakes as I have been, and there we go again, kind of clipping the back of that Camaro and then trying to get along the outside. We're going to go 3 wide into the final turn here. I'm going to spin the car, lose a little bit of traction to the back wheels, and we're down the final straight again. So the Lotus has gotten up into first place. I'm starting to gain on the both of them now, just a slight bit. Looking for that second board on the right side, breaking in. The two of them are going to stick to the outside, so I see a lane straight up the inside. I'm going to slot the NSX right into that and take first place right off their hands. So already a better start to lap 2 than a start I had on lap 1. And then skipping to the final lap, the final corner, I was able to keep that pace up, and on lap 3 I had about a 3-second gap, and it turned out to be a pretty comfortable first place. Gotta love when we're starting the video out with a W. It doesn't happen very often in Forza, so when it happens, we've got to celebrate it. And there are the lap times. Had about a 2-second, well, not quite a 2-second, about a 1.5 seconds on second place. And then we'll move over to Dubai, or Dubois, next, but not before we do a little shoey. Alright, loading into Dubai now, and oh, look at this, we've got a black screen. My game must have crashed, right? I can't imagine any other scenario that would be happening here. Oh, wait, no, it's just that same thing that Turn 10 has refused to fix for the 5 years that this game has been out. Oh, wonderful. Love it. And on top of that, we're at Dubai, one of the greatest tracks of all time, and that's not sarcastic at all. And here we go. Porsche's in the sand, getting clipped by a Ferrari on the left. Could it get any worse? Oh, I'm getting tapped from behind by, I think that was the Porsche, another Ferrari on the right side. We're just rubbing paint, making contact. That's just what Dubai is all about, I guess. It's really kind of crazy. Like, there are tracks that create really good racing with how they're architected, and I don't know, is architected a word? I don't know, the architecture of the track, the layout of the track. There we go, it's probably better. As we kind of go up the inside of that Ferrari with a nice little move there. But some tracks, they create great racing. Dubai just seems to make for some of the worst, most like aggressive and contact-filled races of all time. It's probably because it's one of those like tighter street tracks, but yeah, it is rough every single time. And here we go. We've got a Lotus spinning around doing a 360, trying to do his best impression of a Call of Duty montage. We got more guys probably about 4 into the wall on the left. We've got this thing back in front of us that we saw over at Circuit of the Americas. Still have no idea what this thing is or what it's doing here. Props to Hector for somehow getting that thing around the track and into a top 10 position. Well done, my friend. You are an absolute savage. But we are in 9th place now, and I think there is some room for making up some positions, starting with the F40 in front of me here. F1 Marvel, showing how not to be an F1 Marvel, I guess, as I kind of go past him there. Maybe that means I should be in F1. Probably not. But skipping forward to lap 2 now, we've got another couple Ferraris. This was a Ferrari-filled lobby here in Dubai. We've got, that's not California. That's one of those like FXX somethings. I don't know the names of these cars anymore, but we're by him with a nice little move up the inside. He went wide through that little carousel there, braking early into this 90-degree left-hander, and then just full throttle through the final turn, nearly going into the pit wall, but just turning right quick enough and avoiding that. Closing in on the Ferrari in 6th place now. If he's got a somewhat solid tune on that thing, it's probably going to have the advantage around this long carousel here, as it looks like he does. He does pull away just a tiny bit, but coming through the right-hander here, I am going to gain on him, and that acceleration is going to put me up or along the outside. I'm going to switch the inside, and that was not a very patient move at all. I should have been a little more patient, waited to get him on another corner. That wasn't the greatest overtake. I totally sent it way too wide, and that's just going to give him the position right back. So coming up into the hotel section now, full throttle down that last curve there and up along the outside. I'm going to try a brave move just to impress all the valet drivers, and it just about works out. He goes a bit wide. I'm up the inside into 6th place. Then skipping forward just a tiny bit, same lap here, 3rd lap. We're up onto another Ferrari, or no, is that the Alpha? Man, my knowledge of cars is really going down the drain this episode. I believe that was the Alpha. But we're up past him into 5th place, and I just about had 3rd and 4th on the last lap, but I think if I had one more lap to go, I probably would have caught them. Just didn't quite happen this time around. So there are the lap times, and we're going to move over to a VIR. This is the Patriot variation, and I call this a lobby killer, or at least one of the lobby killer tracks, because this happens. Everyone wrecks, and then people just start leaving, and this race was no different. So we've got a Noble here who hits the barrier. I go straight into him, push him to the side. Here's a Ford GT tasting rubber. Here's another Porsche that eats rubber. I forget which one is the brake and which one's the accelerator here. Another Ford GT into the tire wall, and there are the lap times. Let's just skip this crap. Heading over to the Nürburgring now for a race around the Nordschleife. This is always a super suspenseful countdown, getting ready to go onto the Nordschleife. Here we go though, up the inside of that Ford GT, a little contact, but getting it done, and we're back behind the Camaro now. Depending on the lobby you're in, it could be a fun little battle through the first section of the track here, or it could be just absolute massive crashes left and right. Let's see how it goes here. I look for a move around the outside of the Camaro there. It doesn't quite pan out for me, so I back out there. He's going a little slow through the S's here, so it's kind of holding me back a little bit. I'm into the back of him again. I'm going to look for a move around the outside again. Not quite going to work out. Looking for a cutback, but he's covering the inside well. We've got a Ferrari and some other car off into the barrier on the right side. That's going to put me right up into 3rd place. Now I'm going to look for the move around the outside again, up over the hill, around the crest, and I just about get it done, up into 2nd place. That was a brave move to say the least, and props to the Camaro for not absolutely taking me out on the outside. I really appreciate that. That could have ended badly for the both of us, but it didn't. So just a couple of good driving moments there. Now it's going to be a battle between me and the GTR through the next section here. So coming down the hill and around the carousel, I'm going to have the top speed advantage. So I'm going to start closing in coming down the hill. Now here's a tricky little turn here. I should move over to the right side and brake, but for whatever reason I moved to the left side. I'm into the barrier carrying way too much speed. The GTR locks up the back tires and he's into the wall as well. That somehow is going to put me into first place, and it's going to stay that way for pretty much the rest of the race. So here I am coming around the carousel, getting the job done through there really nicely and building that gap up to about 3 seconds, and then skipping forward to the last section of the track. What I should have done, because I had about a 5-second lead, is just take this nice and carefully. Instead, I send it into the last section, into the braking zone. I'm all over the place. That gap comes down to about 2.5 seconds, but luckily the gap was just about big enough, and I was able to keep that first place. Keeping things in Germany for the next race here, we've got a 4-lapper at Hockenheim. So coming into corner number 1, we've got a GTR along the outside, and he's going to stay alongside me through the full corner, and we're going to make a little bit of contact as he extended his line and came back onto the track, but nothing too bad happening there. Braking at the second board down into second gear, but I'm not in second place. I'm in third place, lots of seconds, but I would like that second place. Coming down the Parabolica now, we've got a very long straight, and it looks like I've got the edge for top speed on the GTR, and I've definitely got it on that Ferrari. The Ferrari definitely the lowest top speed of the top 3 here. I'm going to totally miss my braking point. Here we go again, kind of a little flashback to the Circuit of the Americas race. I'm going to be a little loose on the brakes around Hockenheim this time around. Coming into the right-hander, almost full speed. I do have to lift just a tiny bit coming through there. Dropping down into second gear for the 90-degree left-hander. I'm going to get the cutback on the Ferrari, who went a little too wide, and we're up into second place. He's not going to give up on the fight, though. He's going to stick around the inside. The acceleration of the NSX is going to fend him off, though, and I'll keep second place. Now, the leader just made a bit of a mistake. It almost looked like he pulled the e-brake, kind of like what he did at the Nürburgring when he was leading and I was in second place. So some weird braking going on with the GTR there, and then some more weird braking from me going into turn number 9. I nearly put it into the sand, but just about kept it on the track, and now I'm going to start trading paint with this Ferrari as we're going through the final curve, and there's going to be a whole lot more of that. The Ferrari and I are going to get into it quite a bit on lap 2 through 4. So he made a pretty ridiculous move, in my opinion, around turn 1. I don't know, you guys decide what you thought about that. He cut the track and pushed me wide. I wasn't too happy about that one, but he made another shaky move into turn 2. That's going to put me up into first place. And then we make a little more contact through turn 3. So clearly a very aggressive driver in that Ferrari. Coming down the Parabolica now, we're going to extend that lead out to a little above half a second. Can I finally get my braking point right? The answer is no. I'm going to send it wide again. And then here comes the Ferrari, who wants more of my paint, apparently. Maybe he doesn't like his Ferrari red and he wants a little bit more of my glossy red. I really couldn't tell you what the deal is. You didn't see anything there. I definitely didn't just ridiculously cut the track there. And then look at this, the Ferrari, another massive move up the inside. He's loving the dive bomb, so we didn't make contact there, so I can't really complain about it, but clearly very aggressive, and he's got nothing but first place on his mind. Around turn 8 for the second time, and it is a 4-way battle for first place. This is so awesome and doesn't happen every single time, and especially not in every single lobby. So really glad that we've got this awesome race on our hands. So I made a move up the inside on turn 10. The GTR is going to lock up his back tires again, and a second time coming through the final corner. There must be something going on with his gamepad or his wheel or something, because yeah, those wheels are not doing their jobs. I mean, I've got ABS off and I've got traction control off and all that, so not really sure what might be causing that problem for the GTR, but something definitely weird going on. The battle continues between me and the Ferrari, but now for first place, and there's nothing that I enjoy more than a good battle between the Italians and the Irish. It almost looked like coming through onto the Parabolica there, he might have tried to sideswipe me and maybe give me a little T-bone, but I don't know. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Coming into the hairpin again, can I finally get this right? And I don't. I go a little wide again, but I did do it a little better than I had the previous couple times, so I can try to build on that next lap. Now, coming around turn 5 and into turn 6, I know this guy likes to go for dive bombs. I had him by about half a second, so I don't defend it. And what do you know? The Italian goes for the dive bomb again, makes contact, and takes the lead. I'm definitely getting frustrated, and by the end of the race, he kept the lead. I wasn't quite able to catch him again. I didn't put in a great lap, and that handed me second place. There are the lap times. Now, I did have the fastest lap. It wasn't a clean lap. Actually, no one got a clean lap this race, but I did have the fastest lap by about 3/10. So I was pretty confident coming into Suzuka now that I could beat this guy in the Ferrari and get a little bit of revenge, but do it cleanly. Around turn 1, I carry way too much speed, and I should get probably about a 5-second penalty for that one, but thank goodness it's Forza. Into turn 2, I'm going to pin the Ferrari to the outside. He's going to take exception to that and put me straight into the tire barrier on the left side. Now I have a reason. Now I've got a reason to catch up to this motherfucker and put him into the wall. So lap 3, coming around turn 1, into turn 2, I'm going to dive bomb him this time, let him know I know exactly who you are, motherfucker. And here we go. Alright, there you go. I've already sent someone to space, so I figured this time let's send this guy to hell. And I'll see you there, motherfucker. But that has been the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I am looking for some suggestions on cars to use, so be sure to leave those in the comments, and I'll talk to you guys very, very soon. Alrighty, bye everybody.